All game. Now let's head upstairs at Hokie House for the show.
We are live at Hokie House. It is the Hokie House pregame show on your local radio station. We are ESPN Blacksburg. I'm Paul Van Wagner, joined today by Jeremy Counts. How are you?
Hi, I'm Jeremy.
You are Jeremy. Cody Miller here with us also. How's it going, kid?
What's good, man? How you doing?
Just living the dream. Just living the dream. Going to be joined by Andrew, Alex, and Mike McDaniel. We are on the Voice of College Football page also, so feel free to join us there. Hokie House not open yet, but it will be at 11 o'clock, so you can get out here to watch the Hokies versus Duke. Looking forward to that game. It's another one of those where you look at it and we need to see some progress for Virginia Tech. And honestly, guys, I say this all the time. I'm not a moral victory kind of a person. I hate the fact that they lost to Georgia Tech by 1, but you look back at some
and
of these
NC State and, right beforehand.
Yeah, but the NC State game, like on paper, NC State is better than Virginia Tech, right? Like there's more talent in Raleigh than there is in Blacksburg. So losing that game by 1, I'm okay with. I feel like, though, needed to beat Georgia Tech. Like that was a must-win game for this staff, and here we sit. Blew another one. This team just finds new ways to lose, Jer.
I don't know what's going on in the fourth quarter, but obviously we just decide, hey, we're going to try to just maybe keep our lead, and we stop playing. I don't know what's going on. Our defense falls apart.
Yeah.
It's like we're playing to maintain instead of playing to win. I don't know. It was like whenever they called that timeout, and we had a full rush coming on the
ESPN
what was it, 3rd and 19?
Yeah.
We had the rush called. We were going to go after them, and then all of a sudden we just rushed 3.
Oh, I don't know what's going on. Nick, get a talk segment up, please. It's probably just because the show lock to turn off. No, I have the show lock set to turn off. This is actual full-blown ESPN playing right now. They even hear us.
College
Well, besides the
on
fact
ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
I'm special.
I'm Jeremy.
This is College
We should just
Tailgate on
keep doing our
ESPN Radio,
segment
the
like it's not
ESPN
happening.
app,
Can't
and
hear
of course on
anything.
Sirius XM Channel
Okay.
80.
Maybe it's just your
ESPN Radio
computer.
is presented
might
to you
be.
by Progressive Insurance. I'm
I don't
Amber
know why
Wilson.
that
He's out
I
in
know.
Rittenberg. We are going to get
can
you
hear
ready
the
for
radio
all of the
station.
college football action coming your way.
Well, anyway, so
You can check
Jeremy,
him
yeah,
out
you
on
made a great
Twitter
point about
at ESPN.
the fourth quarter.
Yeah, we fall apart in fourth quarters.
We do. Yeah. All right, hang on. Hey, what's going on?
We might get it fixed.
Maybe.
All right,
Maybe not.
Now do we get to do my segment now?
I don't know what that means, but I'm scared. The Jeremy segment. Oh, man. All right. I guess let's just look through some other games, see if we want to bet on anything.
Have you played the new God?
Can you hear me right now, Nick? Yeah, like over the computer. Can you hear me on the computer? All right. Yeah, can you hear me right now on your headphones? Okay, then let's go ahead and try to put us back on, please. Nope, just go right into a stop break so that we'll just jump in. I'll handle it. All right, bye. All right, well, sometimes we have technical difficulties, and that was the case today. We are good to go, I believe. Hokie House pregame show live from Hokie House. Let's try this again. Cody the Brick Miller is here.
Yeah, what's good?
You also joined by Jeremy Counts.
That's not my title.
Lord Dr. Jeremy Counts, which I don't really
I earned those.
You did not. You bought Lord. You should be Dr. Lord because you actually did earn Doctor, which I still am confused about.
Doesn't make sense.
No,
it's got to be Lord Doctor.
Okay, I guess. Mike McDaniel joining us also on the Voice of College Football page. How are you, buddy?
Working on getting my kid to sleep. Other than that, I'm good.
Oh, well, I mean, that's, be a dad, they said. It'll be fun, they said, right?
Yeah.
So, Jeremy, you were saying, the defense getting wore down. I feel like it's a situation where this becomes a depth issue, right? Like they can't roll out, an entire second group of defensive players. So guys in the fourth quarter are just getting gassed and there's nothing left when the fourth quarter rolls around. Teams almost just have to rope-a-dope Virginia Tech until the fourth quarter rolls around. Then the defense is going to be tired. And okay, let's just go ahead and jump on them because they aren't going to be able to run with us.
Yeah, I mean, in the fourth quarter, we're getting killed on defense. I mean, there's boneheaded calls that are being made, and that is what it is. Like that 3rd and 19, just rushing 3, that was insane. And we left underneath just completely wide open. All they did was bring a running back out of the backfield.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that was the end of us.
But, I mean, how many times this year have we seen 2nd and long, 3rd and long, and whatever long is 18, they give up 19, 22, they give up 24. Like we've seen that a couple of different times this season.
We're putting these wins on a pedestal, and I think we're freaking ourselves out whenever we're ahead in the fourth quarter, and we're just falling apart. And I think that's the coaching staff, and I think that is the players. Like it's like, all right, we got this one. Okay, just please hold on. We're not playing to win.
Yeah, that goes back to that whole thing about prevent defense, about how it really doesn't work, especially on those 3rd and long situations. Like Jeremy said, rushing 3 is not going to work.
Nope.
That gives you a far worse chance of actually stopping them versus playing the defense that got you to them in a 3rd and long.
Right.
But yeah, also like Jeremy said, I believe we've been outscored 12-0 in the fourth quarter in the last 2 games.
Yep.
Conveniently, we were up by 11 in the fourth quarter in
both games.
Yep. So this whole season, the fourth quarter has been an issue. I think we're outscored 30-60 on the season in the fourth quarter. So yeah, we just can't finish games for whatever reason. I think Jeremy's probably right that we put the wins on a pedestal, and I don't know if there's really a surefire fix to that other than being more normalized to winning games. So we don't necessarily, I don't want to say care as much, but we don't freak out when we're ahead.
Mike, I made the point earlier that I feel like it's a depth issue, right? Like there's not enough guys to play decent football in the fourth quarter. The starting 11, maybe the starting 14, if you will, on defense is just so gassed by the time the fourth quarter rolls around that there's nothing left for them.
Yeah, I mean, think about the positions where the Hokies need to rotate guys defensively, right? We're talking like defensive line, in the secondary, like those areas just, they don't have the depth right now, right? And that's the bottom line. The offense just hasn't been able to be consistent all year. I mean, the team has failed to score 30 points in a game. Even when they've come close, a big reason why was because of special teams and defensive scores. So, when you have an offense that is totally incapable of playing consistent enough football to stay on the field for the entirety of the game, you have a defense that ultimately is gassed. And I think that's what we're seeing with the fourth quarter collapses. Everybody wants to say, oh my God, Brent Pry's defense not doing what it's supposed to do. That's not what it's about for me. Like, sure, there have been defensive shortcomings. I mean, Jeremy just mentioned the call last week, only rushing 3 on 3rd and long. That was insane. I agree. And that's on Pry and the coaching staff. But as far as like the repeated collapses and the fact that the Hokies are struggling to, really get off the field defensively in the fourth quarter, a lot of that does come down to depth. A lot of it does come down to the offense not performing the way that it needs to be. So it's kind of a full system failure by the time you get to the second half of these games, because they're not playing complementary football consistently enough, and they really haven't all year.
Does this become a situation of, as they recruit more, they end up with more depth and potentially these issues disappear, Mike, with the better players, the more depth, Pry and his staff recruiting their guys?
Yeah, and I think, they got to probably take the transfer portal a little bit more seriously this offseason. They took it seriously at quarterback, but outside of that, they really haven't recruited the way that they need to out of the portal yet. And, some of that is, they're kind of up against it when you consider the fact that they're, when they were coming in, I mean, they got Phildarius Payne and he blew out his Achilles. Like, what
Right.
are you supposed to do about that? That's not on the coaching staff, right?
Right.
Jaden Blue hasn't really panned out at receiver, but how much of that is on Jaden Blue, right? Like,
Right.
I'm sure some of it is, right? But like offensively, the passing game as a whole has not been very good. So I can't put too much of that on Jaden Blue. So I just think the coaching staff really needs to hit the transfer portal hard. There's got to be a mass exodus of Fuente players, period. Like, there has to be guys who are bought into Pry and his scheme, and you got to get the old regime out, so to speak. Nothing against those players. It's just the way it needs to be. And you kind of need a culture reset and then recruit behind these guys, right? And I think it's going to be a mix of the portal and a mix of getting the right recruits on the field too.
So, Jeremy, let me ask you this then. I mean, is this a situation where we kind of know, and I'm asking you as a fan, and we kind of know, like, this season is lost, right? Like, there's no real saving this season. So let's see a little something against Duke, a little something against Liberty. Let's win the Commonwealth Cup. Like, let's not send that back to Charlottesville. And then we can start moving forward into the 2023 season.
I'm going to tell you right now that if we lose to Liberty, Hokie Twitter will implode. There's going to be a lot of angry people.
Liberty's a good team, though.
Going back to what you all were saying, my thing is, we got to get our players in. I hate having that we have to have that conversation with our players now, because these are our kids. Like, these are kids that I've been supporting forever.
Yep.
So it hurts me in a lot of ways. And it does have to happen, but we've got to finish out this season, and we've got to hit the transfer portal so hard. But how do you hit the portal so hard that you replace half your team?
Right.
It's just, don't expect miracles next year.
Well,
this is a big rebuild.
My issue with the transfer portal is there's really three reasons why you get into the transfer portal, right? You're an issue at your previous school. We don't want those kids. You're not good enough to play at your previous school. We don't want those kids. Or you're at an Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, and you're just buried on the depth chart, and you could potentially play at a Virginia Tech or something like that. Now, those are the kids we want. The problem is there's probably about 110 other programs that also want those kids, because there are only so many Ohio States, Alabamas, Clemsons, Michigans of the world where they have that embarrassment of riches.
That's why you got to get kids that are good for your system. I mean, every once in a while you'll find a Khalil Herbert.
Yeah.
You're going to get that, but that's not going to be every one of your pools. You got to get someone that operates within your system that's going to be good for the way that you want it run. And that's the best you can do. Like, right now, the next few years are going to just be the best we can do.
Yeah. You got any eligibility? Could you go out and run patterns? I mean, you're like 6'2". You could go out and can you separate?
The flag football season caught a few touchdowns.
Yeah.
A few 2-point conversions here and there. So yeah.
This is where we're at, Mike. This is where we're at. We're trying to get the brick on the field for Virginia Tech. This is where we're
suit up.
Brick.
There have been worse ideas.
Not many. Not since Justin Fuente left. So, Mike, let me ask you this: where am I right on the transfer portal? Like, we can't just go out and pick up bodies to pick up bodies. Like, that's how you destroy a program. So you got to find those kids, like Payne, for example. He's a good example. You need to keep him healthy, obviously. But like, how do you go out and find these kids? Because now with the transfer portal, kids aren't leaving until they know they have something set up. Like, so does Brent Pry just take out an ad in the Collegiate Times version of, Alabama and Ohio State and Michigan and say, hey, if you're buried on the depth chart, call me. I might need you.
Well, I mean, the pitch for Pry to these guys is you're going to be able to play right away, because Tech simply doesn't have, especially on the offensive line, like, Tech doesn't have any starting caliber players on the offensive line right now, in my opinion. Like, Caden Moore might be it. Yeah. Outside of that, like, I'd let everybody else hit the road. They need a full reset on the offensive line. Everybody loves to blame Joe Rudolph, and I think that, you know, Rudolph could be getting more out of these kids, but his track record's too long of being a good coach for me to put the blame on him. You know, he's had too good of a track record elsewhere. So at the end of the day, like, I think Tech needs to really just go out, and it's got to be the right fit culturally, right? So, you know, Pry and his staff are trying to build this program that's really tough in the trenches. So I think the priority in the offseason needs to be getting guys on the offensive and defensive lines. And whether that's, you know, through recruiting or the portal, and it should be both, they got to find a way to make that happen. Outside of that, I mean, it's going to take a while for Tech to get the talent they need at the skill positions, right? And you're going to do a lot of that, in my opinion, on the recruiting trail.
Sure.
But in terms of finding like immediate impact players who can step in right away and you know, just be really good, like offensive line and defensive line is somewhere where a lot of guys are buried on depth charts at big time schools that are really good players that I think would step in and really help Tech, or at least give them an upgrade over what they have this year. A lot of the reason why Tech's offense hasn't gotten going is because the offensive line isn't really doing much of anything. So that's what Pry needs to do. He's got to prioritize the trenches for sure this offseason, try to rebuild the depth there. I think that's got to be the priority.
All right, so Mike, I asked Jeremy this question before. I'm going to ask you this question. Obviously, Virginia Tech is close. Couple of 1-point losses, quite a few losses by less than a full touchdown. So, I mean, you know, not a glass half full or a moral victory kind of a thing, but they're not that far off, right? They're not getting blown out in most of these games. So if they can, you mentioned the entire offensive line. If they can get 2 or 3 offensive linemen in the transfer portal, that can help. If they can get 1 or 2 defensive linemen, that can help. Is that enough to get Virginia Tech over that hump, get them away from being what potentially could be like a 3, maybe a 4-win team this year, and get them back to that 6-7 win plateau?
I think so. I mean, how many games this year have we looked at the offensive line, like just like play aside and just wonder how many penalties are they going to commit? Are they going to stop committing false starts? Like a big reason why they're committing false starts, like coaching, everybody wants to point to the coaching, but like a lot of the reason why these guys are jumping offside on the offensive line is because they know they're going to get beat, right? Like the talent's not there.
Right.
They're worried about getting a step on the defensive lineman they're trying to block. And, you know, a lot of these penalties are happening at home too, which is pretty troubling, right? So I think if Tech gets a couple of warm bodies that are a little bit better than what they got right now up front, I mean, I really do think that would help. Because when you look at these losses, like Tech's defense has been collapsing, you know, in the second half of games. Just think about, you know, the energy that can be saved by just prolonging 1 or 2 more offensive possessions a game, right? Whether it be in the first half or the second half. And a lot of that has to do with the offensive line keeping the quarterback upright, the offensive line not committing penalties that puts, you know, Tech's offense in 3rd and long. So if they can kind of like get out of this rut they're in up front, I really do think it could be the difference between winning and losing ball games, because, you know, Tech's had some turnover issues, but when you look at their stats from a turnover margin standpoint, like it's not as bad as you'd think it is. Like more of the issues have been penalties and just not poor 3rd down conversion percentage. But a lot of that is because, you know, Tech.
Did we lose Mike? We might have lost Mike. All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Virginia Tech takes on Duke. We'll talk about that next. You're listening to the Hokie House pregame show on your local radio station. We are ESPN Blacksburg.
Focused report, in-depth analysis, sports news you need when you need it.
I have spoken. ESPN Blacksburg, AM 810, FM 93.1, 97.1, and ESPNBlacksburg.com.
Today on Hey Culligan, soft water, cleaner environment. What do you say, Greg?
Hey Culligan, are you saying if I have a Culligan high-efficiency water softener, I'm also helping the environment?
It sounds like you're saying it, Greg, and yes, you are, because with the Culligan high-efficiency water softener, you'll use less detergent, soap, and harsh chemicals, and that's good for the planet.
Now you're saying it.
You bet I am, Greg. Soft water and a cleaner environment is already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Want next level safety ad-free? Unlock advanced hyper-local severe weather alerts when you subscribe to Premium Plus on the AccuWeather app. AccuWeather alerts are prompted by our expert meteorologists who monitor and analyze dangerous weather risks 24/7 to keep you and your family safer. These notifications are clear, concise, and hyper-local down to your neighborhood or street address. Download the AccuWeather app and upgrade to Premium Plus today.
Fall is in the air, and that means fall grilling with cookouts, tailgate parties, and so much more. Luckily, the flavor experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to savor all the flavors of fall with their mouth-watering assortments of perfectly aged steaks, ultra-juicy burgers, and easy-to-prepare comfort meals that are ready in a flash. Now is the perfect time to load up on all this incredible flavor and take advantage of 50% off site-wide by shopping their Friends and Family sale. Go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code TREAT at checkout to get $30 off your order. Don't wait. Go to omahasteaks.com and stock up today. Omaha Steaks isn't just steak. It's the best steak of your life. Guaranteed. And don't forget to score that extra $30 off your order when you use TREAT at checkout. You won't come close to getting this kind of quality at the grocery store. Visit omahasteaks.com. Promo code TREAT at checkout. Minimum order may be required.
What's your IRS problem? Do you owe back taxes? Is there a lien placed on your property? Have your bank accounts been frozen or seized? Have your wages been garnished? Are you being audited by the IRS? Are they sending you letters that demand actions and have urgent due dates? Well, solving your tax problems is as easy as calling Taxes 321. The IRS is the largest collection agency in the world. You need the best representation to give you peace of mind. You need experienced professionals that can cut through the red tape and stop the collection process. If you have a serious problem with the IRS, call the Taxes 321 network today. We'll get them off your back.
800-203-3517, 800-203-3517, 800-203-3517, 800-203-3517.
It's the Hokie House pregame show on your local radio station. We are ESPN Blacksburg, and a good Saturday morning to all of you. Live from Hokie House, Paul Van Wagner, The Brick, Cody Miller,
Jeremy.
We just let him introduce himself. Live on the Voice of College Football page. Hello to Wayne in Ohio, tuning in to check out what we've got going on today.
Shut up, Wayne.
Hokies take on Duke today. So, the story goes like this. Whit Babcock was down to Brent Pry and Mike Elko as his final two for the Virginia Tech coaching job. Whit Babcock hired Brent Pry. Mike Elko takes the job at Duke. Duke right now is currently 6-3 and bowl eligible. The Hokies are 2-7 and aren't going to make a bowl. Today, right now, gentlemen, the question is this. Did Whit Babcock make the right choice?
Yeah, it's too early. Come on. This is
All right.
first season.
All right.
We lost almost all of our people, like all our playmakers. They're gone. And everyone was just like, oh, man, our line's going to be all right. They got a lot of experience. I knew they weren't. I knew we were going to have some struggles adapting to a new coach, adapting the fact that we lost so many of them to the NFL. We had a great line.
Yeah.
And everyone was just expecting us to just be like, reload.
Plug and play.
Yeah, it was not going to happen. And no, it's just going to take time because, I don't think Duke can maintain any of this. I don't think Duke's all that great. It's not like they're up there and they're becoming world beaters. They're going to have pops every few seasons like they've always done.
Right.
We're trying to actually rebuild a program to what it's supposed to be. So, no, you're not going to have a good couple of seasons because – guys, we got killed. We're in a bad place right now. And we're going to struggle a little bit more than I thought we were.
Yeah.
But it's going to take a couple of years, and everyone's just going to have to buckle up and bear it. And we'll have this conversation again in year 4 or 5.
Riley Leonard seems like he hides a lot of issues with the Duke Blue Devils.
Yes.
1,800 yards passing, 11 touchdowns, 577 yards on the ground, 9 touchdowns. That's 20 touchdowns combined to you and me, Brick. Is Riley Leonard the reason why Duke is this good? And if that is the case, then do we look at next year and go, okay, this team's probably not going to be that good?
That was my initial thought when you asked the first question. I'm like, okay, this Duke team, they're 6-3, but why is that?
Right.
And I do think Riley Leonard's a lot of the reason why. I've said this in ACC fantasy all season long. I feel like I'm the only person who takes him, even though he's their leading rusher and passer.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure why that is. He's dropped like 30 for me twice. But what year is he?
I'm assuming he's a senior. Hang on, let me see. I'll pull up his bio page.
Hope
here.
he's a senior.
Well, the problem is that even if he is a senior, he's only actually a sophomore.
Okay, I'm scared.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously now, I mean, here's the other thing to that though, right? I mean, in the quarterback driven NFL, he'll have to play one more year, most likely. Right.
Yeah.
But then potentially after his junior year, there's a very good chance that he could be gone.
Right.
There's also a very good chance that because of where he falls, that he may have an extra COVID year. So, I mean, potentially we could see Riley Leonard for 3 more seasons after this one.
That would be terrible.
It would be terrible.
So I'm inclined to say that Duke's going to keep this solid 6-3 look at this point in the season for the next couple years because maybe their recruits want to play with a guy like Riley Leonard.
Sure.
Especially on the offensive side of the ball because he's such a weapon.
Yep.
As for the rest of the team, yeah, I think Riley Leonard being there will kind of stagger the decline. But yeah, I think Jeremy's right. I don't think the program's really getting rebuilt the way they want it to be.
Is that a Duke is a basketball school statement, or is that a historically Duke has not been great? So what leads us to believe Duke is going to be a great program in the future?
Yes.
Okay.
Nice. That was beautiful.
All right.
That was beautiful.
All right.
Me and
That's
Jeremy
fair.
always on the same page.
That's fair. That's scary. That's
yeah,
honestly scary.
that is terrible.
You have a great life ahead of you.
Yeah. So you do not feel like the Hokies made the wrong choice with the coaching hire?
No,
At
we're
least
not
at
going
this
to know
point.
that.
Yeah,
And
we're not
we
gonna
shouldn't
know that
even
right
be
now.
having this discussion.
All
We
right.
have to have this discussion.
That's what we
but
do. We
it's-
ask stupid questions.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Welcome to the show.
it's like watching the meltdown on Hokie Twitter. Like,
So-
it's ridiculous.
So when will we know?
Give it
Rough
year
estimate.
4 or 5. You have to give
I
at least
agree.
4. At least 4.
I am a big fan of giving coaches at least 4 years. And I think that, and here's kind of my take on this, guys. And I've said this on the drive before. I would rather see Brent Price struggle in year 1, improvement in year 2, improvement in year 3, improvement in year 4, than to go the other way like we did with Justin Fuente, where you're a 10-win team and everyone is like, oh, let's build a statue next to the Frank Beamer statue for Justin Fuente. And you go from 10 wins to 8 wins to 7 wins to 5 wins to 6. Like that, I would much rather struggle this year and maybe even next year, but see improvement, than to go the opposite way, which is what they did under Justin Fuente.
Do you remember 2016 and how elated everyone was?
Yep.
I just
do.
opened the pharmacy. I was
do.
like, we're back to the glory years. This is it. We've got it figured out. They wrote that ESPN article about this seamless transition from a legend. And we were like, oh, we got it. And then the wheels just started falling off. It was just,
I was one of those people, Jeremy. I was on the show in 2017 talking about wait till he played with Frank Beamer's kids. Wait till he has his kids. Wait till he has guys that can actually play in this spread offense, right? Nothing against Isaiah Ford, Cam Phillips, Bucky Hodges. Those were studs, right?
Oh, we did have those players.
Yeah,
those players are flourishing on other teams.
I know.
We didn't let them play. We try to micromanage these.
Is this
awesome,
a Hendon
players.
Hooker statement?
No, it's not just Hendon.
Okay.
See, that's the thing that was a little weird to me about Justin Fuente. We had the talent when he got here, and obviously in year 1 we did very well, but we had trouble figuring out the quarterback position. He wanted to keep Braxton Burmeister in there for one reason or another, and now we see that Jalen Hyatt and Hendon Hooker, which we both had on our team, are now possibly the best receiver quarterback duo in all of college football. But the issue is, like, Justin Fuente never had that problem in the past with the quarterback position. He had Andy Dalton, and he had Memphis guy. Paxton Lynch.
Yep.
So
Memphis guy. What a terrible superhero.
So I don't understand why he had trouble figuring that out when he got here, and it just fell apart.
Wayne in Ohio says we need a Matt Ryan type quarterback. Mike, is that
Shut
accurate?
up, Wayne.
For this offense?
Yeah.
We do.
Need like
Mike, not you too.
Yeah, oh yeah, everyone. I mean, you have to admit, right? Like, if we could find a Matt Ryan type quarterback, this offense would hum. It's not wrong. It's not wrong. Let's do this. Let's take a break. Mike is back. We're going to take a break. When we come back, there's a whole bunch of games around the ACC. We're going to run around those, and Andrew is going to join us also. So we'll talk about all the ACC games. Plus, we got to make our picks. You are listening to the Hokie House pregame show on your local radio station. We are ESPN Blacksburg.
ESPN Blacksburg
continues to grow stronger, faster.
Oh, I told Matt Masiosi that he could be a guest picker. So
Experiencing dizziness?
Yeah.
Does looking at moving objects make you feel unsteady? Do you have to sit and wait for the dizziness to pass when you get out of bed? Hi, this is Petty Tibong, the vestibular specialist at Core Physical Therapy in Blacksburg. Whether you are feeling too unsteady to walk without support or are trying to get back on the field to play your favorite sport, I can help you. For more details about the advantages of physical therapy for dizziness, check us out at coreptblacksburg.com.
Is your helmet safe? How would you know? All helmets sold in the USA are certified on a simple pass-fail basis, so it's very difficult to compare helmets. One easy and great way to tell the difference is by going to the Virginia Tech Helmet Lab's website. They've been researching concussions and helmet performance for the past 15 years. They now have ratings for bike helmets, football helmets, hockey, soccer, flag football, youth football, snow sports, and getting ready to add new sports soon. Check them out at vt.edu/helmet.
Tackle even your toughest business challenges with support from First Bank and Trust Company. Hi, I'm Holly McClung, Business Relationship Representative for First Bank and Trust Company. We are in the business of supporting your business, and that's why we have a team specifically dedicated to supporting payroll, credit card processing, remote deposit, and other business operating needs. Make us your first choice for business solutions, backed by the local support of our team. Call us today at 540-260-9060 for a free consultation. Member FDIC.
When it's time to move, think Jefferson Apartments. Their roomy 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments have high-speed internet, air conditioning, and laundry facilities in each building. Stop by and check out their various floor plans. With the help of their friendly office staff, you can find the right apartment to match your style and budget. Locally owned and operated, Jefferson Apartments is on the quiet side of town. Jefferson Apartments, 614 Washington Street, Blacksburg, 552-4252.
Zeppeli's is proud to celebrate its 25th year anniversary, where they have been making house-made fresh pasta since 1996. Owners Chris Mullins and Cody Thompson are proud to continue the traditions of Zeppeli's today. They say they can't do it without their wonderful staff and guests. So stop by for some homemade ravioli, spaghetti, bread, desserts, and more. Lunch, dinner, or brunch, Zeppeli's is here for you. Zeppeli's also handles private events and all your catering needs, from weddings to tailgates. Zeppeli's.com. We make the pasta, you taste the difference.
Crawl Space Medic. See, when I was down in my basement 2 days ago, I had a friend of mine over who's also a contractor. I said, dude, you have to see what Crawl Space Medic did underneath my house. I had to show off this beautiful new crawl space the Crawl Space Medic put in. They cleaned it. They put down a new vapor barrier. They sealed all the edges. Now I'm breathing better and my house smells better. Check out crawlspacemedic.com. That's crawlspacemedic.com.
Workday passes like molasses in wintertime, but it's July. Getting paid by the hour and older by the minute.
It's the Hokie House pregame show on your local radio station. We are ESPN Blacksburg, and a good Saturday morning to all of you. Paul Van Wagner, the Brett Cody Miller,
Jeremy,
and Andrew Alex joining us on the Voice of College Football page. Wayne in Ohio, very excited about Andrew's clean apartment and the view from out his front window.
Yeah, Wayne, I appreciate your, I appreciate your thoughts and your compliments. And, I don't necessarily blame you for being surprised. Most people are, but, it turns out that not living in squalor, there's something to be said for it.
Can you do us a favor and turn your computer screen 180 degrees? I feel like the area where we are, look at that.
Well, now it's dirtier because Matt Masiosi's in the room.
Keep going. Matt Masiosi's not tall enough to ride this ride. Keep going. Keep going. We need to see behind the computer. I think that this area. Oh, yeah. Okay, there we go. Show us down. I guess it could be worse. There's just a wall.
I'm never going to have a clean desk, and I have to sit.
All right. That's fair. Let's take a trip around the ACC, fellas, in a game that I think all of us want both teams to lose. Pitt takes on Virginia. Mike McDaniel joining us once again. Pitt versus Virginia, Andrew. Can both lose in Charlottesville? I feel like both have already lost. They're in Charlottesville.
Definitely a loss for both. But, in this game, I think I saw the spread. Pitt only a 3-point favorite.
It's 5.5.
Pitt is a team that is at least capable of playing complementary football. Like UVA has won a couple games, but at no point has anyone ever been impressed with the performance from UVA. I mean, Taylor, as the linebacker there for them, he's doing an impressive job. And it's funny because they're like the opposite team that they were last year. Last year it was all offense. Defense couldn't stop a leaky faucet. This year, defense can hold up game to game, almost kind of like that Virginia Tech model, that people thought it was going to be. But their offense, even more putrid week to week. So I like Pitt in this game. Again, I think that the performance that had Matt Masiosi secretly cheering in the stadium, in the stands of Heinz Field with Israel Abanikanda setting records, that's not something that's going to be replicable week to week, especially against a defense like UVA's that I think is more solid and more consistent than that of Virginia Tech. But even so, at this point, I like Pitt to win and cover in this game, not to.
Matt Masiosi is just mad because he can't see over top of the bar. That's the only problem. Mike, Louisville at Clemson. Clemson has kind of played themselves out of playoff contention, but they still have something to play for. This Louisville team is hit or miss. Is this one of these games where Clemson should just truck Louisville, but for some reason isn't actually going to, and it's going to frustrate gamblers like yourself?
I mean, Louisville is a frustrating team to really figure out because they've been in this position multiple times this year where you're just wondering, like, when's the next shoe going to drop with Scott Satterfield? And then it just hasn't, and they keep playing good football. I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting game. I mean, Clemson's going to try to bounce back from last week. Louisville matches up pretty well defensively against Clemson, which I think, if Louisville's able to keep their offense on the field and not turn the ball over, I mean, I think they're going to have a chance to win this game, but it's going to be interesting to see how Clemson deals with that tough loss last week. And can the offense get back on track? Because, to be quite honest with you, like DJU and that offense as a whole just hasn't performed well. And everybody's calling for Cade Klubnik, but he only threw 4 passes against Syracuse, right? He came in the game, didn't turn the ball over. He comes back in the game last week, and I get it, really bad situation to put him in, but he throws a terrible interception. So he's not ready yet. That's why DJ is still out there. Like, if Dabo thought that Cade Klubnik was ready, he'd put him in the game.
Yeah, that's fair. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out with Klubnik and DJ. DJ could be one of those guys, Jeremy, that ends up in the transfer portal and maybe at Virginia Tech.
We'll see.
Boston College takes on NC State, guys. This game, Cody, feels like it should have been a blowout earlier in the season. Obviously, NC State's dealing with a bunch of injuries. We know Boston College might be the only team in the ACC that's worse than Virginia Tech. I said might. Boston College people, don't come at me, please. But this is a game that, I don't even know what to make of this one.
I'm inclined to think this game is going to be close. Is Devin Leary still out?
I do not know.
Anybody know?
Andrew, any idea if Devin Leary is still out?
Yes, but the thing that I think you guys are underestimating is that MJ Morris is kind of a dog. Like
he has looked good. I
mean, he comes out, Virginia Tech's up 21-3. They score 3 quick touchdowns. They win that game, and then ultimately go out and beat the fighting Chase Mumas of Wake Forest University 1 week later. This is an NC State team that's still ranked number 16 in the country for that reason. Now, are they the number 16 team in the country? Probably not. They're probably not the 16th best team in the country, but Boston College also lost to UConn. Yes. Yeah. Mike McDaniel, the prophet of all prophets, predicted that correctly. We must give credit where it is due. And UConn football very well could be back. 1 win away from bowl eligibility, a game for everyone nationally to circle on their calendar. Final week of the season, UConn Army. ESPN's Football Power Index predicts that Army has a 90% chance to win that game. I think that's overblown. Give me UConn. We're 2 weeks ahead of ourselves already. But nonetheless, this game between Boston College and NC State will indeed be an absolute blowout.
That divulged into something completely
Yeah, it really
different.
did. It really did.
That's not what I was expecting.
Miami at Georgia Tech. I don't even know what to make of this game. Neither team plays real well, and Miami has all the talent in the world, Jeremy, but
they're Miami.
They're Miami. Georgia Tech has no talent and somehow comes out and can hang, 12 on Virginia Tech at the end of the football
Georgia
game.
Tech's going to win.
You think so?
Yeah, Miami's garbage.
Wow.
And at this point in the season, despite their talent, they know they're garbage.
Yeah.
And this always snowballs for Miami.
Yeah,
Every
that's
single
fair.
year.
That's fair.
Everyone told me I was crazy. And it's
You
a
are.
new era for Miami. I called this. I call it every year until they actually get someone in there that can actually get all these 5 stars to actually play ball and get their ego in check. They're not going to actually be a good team.
This is not the Miami of the 1980s. And that's the problem. Like, Miami still sells this as we're Miami from the 1980s, and you're not. And I agree with you, until they figure out that cultural issue.
Well, they can sell, hey, you can live in Miami and play football.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, it is. I agree. But it doesn't equate to wins.
It doesn't equate to Blacksburg.
That's true.
Much better.
Yeah.
Very
North Carolina takes on the Fighting Chase Mumas, Andrew. Drake May versus Chase Muma. Give me Chase Muma.
Give me Chase Muma over either of the quarterbacks participating in this game 7 days a week. But that being said, these are 2 quarterbacks that are, in all likelihood, and by most statistical measures, the 2 best quarterbacks in the ACC. Definitely a different tale in terms of levels of experience and all that, but 2 similar teams nonetheless. Shaky defense, great passing game, and 2 teams, in North Carolina and Wake Forest that have, put themselves on that short list of teams in the ACC that you could actually say, okay, they're pretty good. They could go into another conference and maybe win a game or 2. They could maybe beat Illinois. So I don't know. With Drake May, again, it's you have your defense working against you, and sometimes he has to put up 45 points in order to win, and those are against much more putrid offenses than that Wake Forest is going to put out there today. I do like Wake at home, although given the presence of Carolina a block away, it's not going to probably more of a mixed atmosphere. But nonetheless, I'm going to go with the experience, a slightly better defense on the Wake Forest side. And, I think that Vegas handicaps that as about 4-point favorites for the Deeks. I think that's about right. A close win, very high scoring game, over under 78.5.
I'll take the over. I'm hammering the over.
Let's take the over, baby.
Okay, so I asked Mike McDaniel this question last week, and I'm going to ask all of you this question. If there was an ACC version of the Heisman, Mike said last week he would give the award right now today to Drake May. Andrew, if there was an ACC version of the Heisman, do you give it to Drake May right now today? If not, who do you give it to?
It's kind of hard to argue that you wouldn't give it to Drake May. I mean, the dude's got 31 touchdowns and almost 3,000 passing yards. The season's not over yet. He's a sophomore.
Boo.
Drake May, what do you want me to say?
Boo.
Caleb Smith?
You and your brain speak from your heart.
All right, who are you giving it to?
I didn't say who I'd give.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to disagree with Andrew.
Oh, well, that's fair. Andrew Alex, the new Tim Thomas.
The only
please no.
The hair, I don't know.
I feel like the only argument you could make giving it to anyone else besides Drake May is Sam Hartman, and 2,400 yards, 24 touchdowns on the season. He wasn't playing the first couple games, but it's the interceptions for me.
Right.
He has 9 picks versus Drake May only has 3.
Yeah.
So the ratio for interceptions to touchdowns is a lot better for Drake May than it is for Sam Hartman. So he takes care of the ball. I'll take Drake May every time.
You could make a coherent argument for Drake May to win the actual Heisman.
Yeah, you could. If UNC's defense was a little better and they were actually a contender, yeah. There's no.
I mean, they're 8-1.
Blake Corum wants you to
They're
hold us
8-1. It's crazy.
Oh,
Last year, UNC comes in with the Heisman favorite quarterback, number 10 overall, record in the preseason, 6-6. Now suddenly those expectations, it's almost UNC is the total kind of program that is going to fall victim.
You've been in North Carolina too long.
To their high expectations. I hate North Carolina. It's like my least favorite school. I'm just being honest. Other than UVA, I'd probably
Look
take
at that powder blue microphone he has.
That is true. The microphone is very Carolina blue.
powder blue. This is Duke blue, if anything.
All right. One last one. Florida State, number 23, takes on Syracuse. Syracuse continues to get disrespected. The JMA Wireless Dome is the place, formerly known as the Carrier Dome.
Wait for that.
Syracuse, I feel like, guys, Syracuse, this is not necessarily a must-win for Syracuse, but this is one of those games where I see Syracuse coming out, Jeremy, and punching Florida State in the mouth and winning this game.
I don't know about that.
Really?
I think Florida State's better than a lot of people give them credit for.
I agree.
The Carrier Dome is where dreams go to die, Andrew. We've seen it time and time again. I know it's not the Carrier Dome anymore.
I don't believe Syracuse has Garrett Schrader playing, and last week it made Sean Tucker very much a non-factor in the game. And without that, they don't have a receiving
I'm changing my pick right now.
Well, I mean, I hate to say it because I want it to be true, but maybe for the Jeremy, you don't even know what I'm about to say.
What? You didn't say anything.
I said you're all wrong.
Okay. But yeah, you look at Florida State, a team that has already notched a win, albeit early on in the season, against an LSU team that very well could make the college football playoff. And then they do have 3 losses, but it's against Wake, Clemson, and NC State with Leary. Like, the games that they've lost have all been close and to good teams. And then recently, Georgia Tech, a 41-16 convincing victory at Miami on the road, hostile environment, 45-3. I just think that, the clock has struck midnight and Cinderella's coming home from the ball when we talked about the Syracuse Orange, and Florida State is tracking in a situation right now with Syracuse, Louisiana, Lafayette, and Florida. This is a team that very well could finish 9-3, and I think of 9-3 Florida State is a good thing for ACC football going forward.
I agree, but I think Syracuse is better than you all are giving them credit for, and we'll make our picks right after this.
Guest picker Matt Mazziosi.
Okay, maybe we can do that. Is he tall enough to see over the microphone? We'll take a quick break. When we come back, get him a stool. We'll make our picks. You're listening to the Hokie House pregame show on your local radio station. We are ESPN Blacksburg.
The only sports station that matters.
ESPN Blacksburg, 93.1, 810, 97.1, and online at espnblacksburg.com.
So I hear you're buying a house. That's awesome. Have you thought about where you're going to close?
No, I didn't think that was a choice I had, or it was that important.
Oh my gosh, yes, it's so important. And the home buyers in Virginia, they have the right to choose what title company they close their loan with.
Well, do you have any suggestions?
You should tell your realtor and lender that you want to close at Drew North Title. They'll be involved in the whole process for you and will answer any questions you have along the way. Plus, they're really involved in our community, and if you want, they'll even give you a first-time home buyer's consultation.
Drew North Title Company, 200 Country Club Drive in Blacksburg, Virginia, and all over the Commonwealth.
How do you choose the safest helmet? All helmets sold in the U.S. pass a basic safety standard, but the Virginia Tech Helmet Lab goes a step further. For 15 years, they've been using real-world data to test helmets under realistic conditions that evaluate how well each model reduces the risk of head injuries like concussion. Their 5-star rating scale goes beyond the pass-fail standard to give consumers the power to choose the best protections. Find independent, science-backed ratings for football, hockey, cycling, and more at vt.edu/helmet.
Our goal at Nest Realty is to make your real estate journey as stress-free, transparent, and fun as possible. With insights to local, regional, and national market updates in our annual and mid-year reports, our clients gain the knowledge of industry insiders so they are equipped to accomplish whatever goal they may have. As one of the fastest-growing private companies in America and named one of the most innovative real estate brokerages in the country, we'd love to share our resources with you so you have everything you need to move boldly. Look us up at nestrealtynrv.com.
Unwanted bugs sending your anxiety into overtime? This is Jay Tucker, Hokie alum and branch manager of Pest Management Services, Inc. As a 32-year-old family-owned and operated business, PMSI is proud to serve as the official pest control partner of the Hokies. We are always on the defense against general pests, mosquitoes, bed bugs, stink bugs, termites, wildlife, and even mold. For a free inspection, visit our website at mypmsi.com. That's mypmsi.com.
Technology. We all use it. Most of the time, we love it. However, if your computer begins to make noises that just don't sound right or are downright scary, it's time to call Paul. Do you ever hear this? Or how about this? From time to time, does your computer make this noise? Or have you ever booted up your machine to the wonderful sounds of this? If the answer is yes, it's time to call Paul. What do you get when you call Paul? You get affordable, quality IT support for personal computers, small businesses, and nonprofits. They have size-based service packages for every type and size of business. They're on call when you need them, and they're ready to serve you. Check them out today at acertech.com. That's AESIR-tech.com. Your IT problems are our trusted solutions.
It's going down. I'm yelling timber. You better move. You better dance. Let's make a night you won't remember. I'll be the one you won't forget.
We are live at Hokie House. It is the Hokie House pregame show on your local radio station. We are ESPN Blacksburg. Paul Van Wagner, Jeremy Counts, the Brick, Cody Miller, Andrew Alex, and Matt Masiosi sitting on a booster seat in Andrew's apartment.
Phone book.
Matt, my question for you is, how is the new job going as the spokesperson for Lucky Charms? We need to know.
It's good. It pays well.
No, you needed to make a pot of gold joke. I was setting you up.
It's good.
That's a great answer.
Good. All right, let's make some picks here, boys. We got lots of games to go through in just a couple of minutes to do it, so we're going to fly through this. Pitt at UVA. I got Pitt. Mike's got Pitt. Tim's got UVA. Andrew, Alex.
Pitt.
Andrew's got Pitt. Cody.
Abanikanda. Pitt.
Pitt. Jeremy.
Pitt.
Wow, Tim's the only one that's taking UVA right now. Matt Masiosi.
Pitt. I think you knew that.
I did know that, you Pitt shill. Let's see. Clemson taking on Louisville. Matt Masiosi, get us started.
I'm going with Louisville. Another letdown from Clemson.
Oh, okay. All right. Tim's got Clemson. Jeremy?
Louisville.
Okay. Cody?
I want to say Louisville, but I don't think Clemson's losing 2 games in a row. Clemson.
All right. Andrew?
Clemson, but I would like to note that the spread is thinner on this game than it is between Duke and Virginia Tech.
Wow. All right. I also have Clemson. So does Mike McDaniel. Mike and Tim and I all have NC State against Boston College. Does anyone feel froggy and want to take Boston College?
No.
Nope.
Okay, beautiful.
I'm going to take Boston College just because Tim picked them and because that NC State fan made me mad on Twitter the other day.
All right. I'll give you Boston
I'm
College.
That's what people come for.
Jeremy is currently batting .464 in a contest where the rest of us are all over .680. So that tells you everything you need to know about this. Let's see. Miami taking on Georgia Tech at Georgia Tech. Matt Masiosi.
I'll go with Miami.
Okay. Tim Thomas also has Miami. Jeremy.
No.
Georgia Tech?
Yes. It's
Wow.
going to be GT.
Wow. Okay.
I said it earlier.
I thought you just meant Noah's and you weren't picking, which
Yeah.
I totally
No.
understand because this is going to be an absolute garbage game.
Who do you got?
Georgia Tech.
All right. Andrew?
I'm going to go with Miami. Shout out to the guy that laughed at Paul's booster seat joke.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I also have Miami. Mike has Georgia Tech. I have Wake Forest. Mike has UNC. Tim Thomas has Wake Forest. Andrew Alex.
I will take North Carolina.
Cody?
I'll take North Carolina as well.
You guys are gutless. The Fighting Chase Mumas look good. Jeremy?
Wake Forest.
You agree with Tim Thomas. I like that. Matt Masiosi?
Hatred sometimes wins.
North Carolina.
Weak. Florida State versus Syracuse. Matt Masiosi?
Florida State.
Tim has Florida State. Jeremy?
Wait, who are they playing?
Florida State, Syracuse, in the formerly artist known as the Carrier Dome.
I picked Florida State earlier. Now I got to go with Florida State.
All right. Cody?
Florida State.
Andrew?
Florida State.
Oh.
Mike has Florida State. I have Syracuse. You guys are all wrong. Virginia Tech versus Duke. Andrew Alex.
Been saying it for years, folks. DDD. Don't Duke. Gonna take the Devils here.
Cody.
Has he actually been saying that
He's
for
been
years?
saying that
Oh,
for
that's
years. He's an idiot.
disgusting. Yeah, I'll take Duke as well.
All right.
For a lot of
Jeremy?
reasons.
I think that we're going to win big time. And I think that Brent Pry is going to walk up to Elko afterwards and whisper in his ear that his mother overcooks her salmon.
Okay. That's wow. All right. Tim Thomas says Duke.
You clapping for yourself, Jeremy?
True sin. True sin to overcook salmon.
Matt?
I'm going to go with Virginia Tech because I feel like they have to win at some
I
point.
love it. I love it. I'm going with Duke. So is Mike McDaniel. Gentlemen, as always, thanks for doing this with us. Look forward to next week. We'll do it all over again, same time, same channel. Thanks to everyone that tuned in on the Voice of College Football page and on ESPN Blacksburg. We'll talk to you on Monday with The Drive. Enjoy the game and go Hokies.
We bring you sports talk with personality.